Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing good. Everybody's doing well. I'm doing well tonight. Well, I'm not doing so well. I'm lying. I literally just came out of the restroom sick to my stomach, so I'm not doing the greatest. Still fighting a horrible infection. Medication and food have obviously they're not getting along too well tonight. So I've been sick to my stomach. Not that any of you guys really wanted to know that, but I figured I'd share with you because it's an honest program, right? So that's literally where I just came from before I came on. Remaining vigilant in my recovery, no matter what. So tonight, I've got Addie backstage again. She wanted to come on live with me, which is amazing. And we're going to talk about the topic. I don't know if you guys caught it right before it actually went live, negatives and positives. Um, Learning to appreciate them, learning to adapt, um, take the good with the bad type scenarios. It's based off of Narcotics Anonymous's JFT today. If you guys working in a program, bring your JFT up. You can read along with us. If you don't, just type in JFT on your phone or on your computer. It will bring it up. If you guys want to comment while we're talking about it, please feel free to do so. Share the stream out, guys, please, before I bring the reading up. The more we share, the more we help, the more we reach. You just never know. I'm going to go ahead and bring Addie on and let her say hey to everybody, and then we'll bring the reading up. And hey, look, she's my mini me right now. Let me make her more life size. She's still fun size, but
I am fun size. Either way.
she's a little bigger now. She's still tiny. She's my mini me. So yeah, welcome everybody that's coming in. I am going to disable this chat thing for some reason. It's going obnoxious on my side. I have no idea why. Yeah, it's Wednesday. It's Happy Hump Day. Hump hump whoop whoop. All right, let's bring the reading up. Hopefully, it's big enough for Celia, our friend in recovery, to read because she's obviously blind like I am, and she has a hard time reading. She put in a request on my last live stream to Addie that I need to make my fonts bigger, which this is actually even smaller than what it was on the other program that I use. So I myself am going to have to go over to the other screen. Says the good and bad feelings. It's from the May 25th, just for today. It says it's actually page 151. If you guys actually have the book in your hand, go to 151. It says a lot happens in one day, both negative and positive. If we do not take time to appreciate them both, perhaps we will miss something that will help us grow. IP number 8, it's the JFT from NA's IPs. Most of us seem to unconsciously judge what happens in our lives each day as good and bad, success or failure. We tend to feel happy about the good and angry and frustrated or guilty about the bad, about the shit that's going on in our lives. It says good and bad feelings, though, often have little to do with what's truly good or bad for us, what's really going on with us. It's usually always within. It says we may learn more from our failures than our successes. Think about that as I'm reading. We may learn more from our failures than our successes, especially if failure has come at taking risk. Attaching value judgments to our emotional reactions tie us to our old ways, our stinking thinking. We can change, it says we can change the way we think about incidents of everyday life, viewing them as opportunities for growth. We can change our thought process. It says not as good or bad. We can search for lessons rather than assigning value. When we do this, we learn something from each day. It says our daily 10th step, I don't care which program you're working, this is an open recovery live stream. So insert your daily step 10, your daily inventory. Says this is an excellent tool for evaluating the day's events and learning from both our successes and our failures, our ups and our downs, our mistakes, our successes. Says just for today, I am offered an opportunity to apply the principles of recovery so that I will learn to grow. When I learn from life's events, I succeed. It's a really, really, really awesome reading. I am going to kill this screen so I'm not being blinded by the light next to me. What's your spin on this, Addie? I know you wrote down a bunch of notes on this, and I think it's important. It's really staying focused in the day. You know what I mean? That's kind of where we can start off with it.
I think the most important thing for me is understanding that the feelings are just feelings. They're not positive or negative. It's the action that we put behind them is what makes them positive or negative. So we have to examine our motives as to what we're looking at. And, it's a case by case basis as well. It's not a one and done kind of situation. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's something that we have to do daily. It's
hmm
like you said, it's not a one and done. It's something that we have to, when we start our day, when we get up, it's something that, will help us throughout our day, every single day. We can't be all positive and happy go lucky today or yesterday and then wake up today and be Nancy fucking negative and be shitty committee all day and wonder why, the whole yin and yang effect, like why, we took 2 steps forward, but today we're taking 2 steps backwards. Make sense?
Hang on, Piper's laying on things. Okay.
No. Yeah, for those that have never watched this live before, we have a cat that likes to stick her butt in the camera and walk across keyboards and playing with a mouse. There you go. So yeah.
I think it's important in my life. I have to name the feeling and figure out what it is. And sometimes I have to delve deeper. I have a chart that has 5 basic feelings on it, and then it has another level of other feelings, and then there's 3 different layers, so you can really kind of pinpoint what the actual feeling is, so that I can figure out why I'm if it's anger, but it's going a little bit deeper, that it's not just anger, it's jealousy, and it's not just jealousy, it's from some other cause or something, and figure out what is that catalyst to decide whether I can do something about it or whether I just need to let it go.
Right. That's why, like what I said when I was sharing the reading, that it's usually within. It's usually something going on within us during the day that's frustrating us. There's a reason why we're angry. There's a reason why our coworker at work is pissing us off. Me, it's traffic. Man, it's pouring down rain here. I was wondering what the hell that noise was. You hear that?
I thought
I know you guys don't hear it. We do. No, it's raining cats and dogs here in Dayton. That's crazy. But yeah, it's usually within, and I think changing our thought process is really big. Those that have heard me share time and time and time again, changing my thought process using that CBT, that cognitive behavioral therapy, has helped me tremendously, changing it from a negative one to a positive one. When life shows up, and it's going to, having that ability to look at it more in a positive light than a negative one helps tremendously. If change is uncomfortable, change is uncomfortable for me. So I can use an example, say work. Say tomorrow I go into work and my boss says, "Hey, you're going to be working here from this point forward. You're no longer going to be where you've been working." I could get pissed off, I could get angry, or I could just roll with it and look at the positive in it. Like, well, look, nothing's changed. I'm still the same person. I can still share my experience, strength, and hope. I'm just going to be doing it somewhere else. Um, I have to try to look at it from a different angle, a different mindset,
Yeah.
perspective. That's the word I was looking for. Look at it
Having
from a different perspective.
yeah. Having that self-awareness and practicing the pause so that you can examine your motives and kind of understand where you're coming from and
Right.
what maybe caused it if you were triggered by something, because we get external sources are going to cause us issues. Like you said, like using the work thing, like, you're used to a regiment, certain ones of us in our relationship don't do well with change and don't do well if things aren't
Yeah,
planned
and
out.
addicts don't do well with change. Trust me.
And
So
so, I mean, if you're told that, hey, you're going to be doing this new thing and you weren't prepared for that, that can throw you into a tailspin, or you have a girlfriend that decides to change plans on you at the last minute or
oh, them
whatever.
damn girl, terrible.
But yeah, I mean, having that ability to just take that minute to take a breath and examine what's causing this and maybe what triggered it in the first place, you can kind of keep it in reality where your feet are in today and not go back to 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever caused that trigger.
Right.
And just keep it in today. That's like I said, feelings don't have they don't have a positive or a negative. They're just a feeling. So if all of a sudden a fear comes up, I need to take that second to pause and be like, okay, why am I scared? Why am I having this anxiety? Like I had that this morning. I was sitting in the car before I went in my chiropractor appointment and I just had this, I don't know, it was weird feeling of anxiety and I had no clue why. But I just had to
One
take a
thing,
second to relax,
one thing, when you said trying to stay in the present, and one thing that our friend in recovery, Jersey Ed, says all the time, and I just heard him talking about it in a meeting that I just came out of with him. Um, something that he says all the time is if we have one foot in the past and one foot in the future, we're
Mhm.
pissing on the present. We're
Exactly.
not taking full advantage of what's going on today, what's going on right here and now in front of us. It's so important to try to not to lose focus on what's going on right now, what we could control. Sorry, guys, I'm all over the place in here. What we can control. Addicts, alcoholics, people that suffer from mental health and addiction. Um, Usually, one of your character defects is control, and I am a prime example of that. I struggle with it every single day. I struggle with change, and there's a lot of fear in all of that.
Yeah.
Um, it's uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable is scary. It was for me, especially multiple trips in and out of treatment centers and that. Like no one wants to do it. We know we need to do it. You don't want to do it, and that fear of change um, is uncomfortable as hell. So we have to flip the script and not beat ourselves up, not pump quarters in that ass kicking
Right.
machine, and flip the script and look at things from a different point of view, a different perspective, because I can catastrophize any situation. Like I can make mountains out of molehills real quick,
That's a
like
word.
really
That's a word
really quick.
now. You said it. That's a
Yeah.
word now.
Yeah, I mean, I can blow things way out of proportion and overthink it and overanalyze it, because that's what I'm good at doing. These are all character defects, guys, that I'm mentioning that I struggle with myself, and I'm sure a lot of you that are listening struggle with it too, because it's not something that just goes away at the snap of your fingers overnight. It's something that we
Yeah.
have to work
Well, I mean, for example, like even with you and I, there was I forget what happened. It was like 4 or 5 months ago before we moved in here. I something didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but I just whatever my brain convinced me that was my fault, and I was not home at the time, and I was scared to come home because of past traumas in my life that I was afraid, of repercussions because said thing didn't work out. And I was literally having a panic attack sitting in my car at the gas station, not wanting to come home because I was afraid of backlash, knowing very, very well that from you I was not going to get any of that. But it was a trigger from whatever, in the
It's
past. So I had to literally, I called him and we had a conversation about it, and I said, "This is how I'm feeling. It's nothing towards you, but this is where my brain is," and he talked me down off the ledge and said, "It's okay. Just come home and we'll talk about it." And I did, and
right.
everything was fine. But it just was that like I said, I don't know what triggered it. I have no idea. The shitty committee took a hold of whatever it was that day. But I mean, that's knowing that and being in the moment and being able to say, okay, hold on a second. I'm having these emotions, but it's not real. False evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
I had to just step back and take a breath and then communicate with my partner, hey, this is what I'm going through, so that you understood where I was at with it, to be able to support me and fix whatever was wrong.
That's perfect example of changing a negative into a positive and fear, like you said, false evidence appearing real. We have a choice. We can say, I like to say, fuck everything and run, or we can face everything and recover. And that's
Exactly.
recovering. We're changing those negative thoughts from trauma, from
Yeah.
PTSD, mental health struggles. We're changing that thought process.
I'm a
Doesn't mean
firm
that we're not
believer.
going to have, yeah, it doesn't mean that we're not going to have the feelings. It's just how we approach the feelings, how
Right.
we handle them, what tools in our recovery toolbox we pull out
Right.
to use to work through it. And you nailed
Yeah.
it on the head. I think one of the best things for any of us is just to be honest and talk it out,
Mhm.
talk about it, talk with someone that you love and care about to help you through,
Yeah.
like, look, this is how I'm feeling and I want you to know how I'm feeling and be honest about it and work through it instead of just
Right.
balling up and keeping it inside.
And that's where it comes on the other person's side of it, is not to take that personally. It wasn't an attack on you. It wasn't an affront on you. It was how I was feeling. So it couldn't, I didn't want to put that on you and you feel guilty for something that wasn't real.
Right. Right. Yeah, and
I'm
I mean obviously I can speak for myself. I'm just not that type of person. I don't do that. Addie knows
Right.
that personally. But, it's something that when you're sharing something personal like that, that you think about. That,
Mhm.
I have been hesitant on sharing some my real thoughts and feelings on certain things or certain topics because I was afraid of the response. I was afraid that I was going to get backlash, or I was afraid I was going to be looked at differently.
Right.
And it goes right back to that fear. It's not easy to do.
I'm I'm a firm believer of flipping the script. If something happened negative in a place, I'm one to then go to that place with friends and change the narrative. If my boyfriend broke up with me at Applebee's and I was crying in a plate of fettuccine alfredo, that to me the thing to do is to go back to that Applebee's with a group of girlfriends and start laughing and having a good time. So then, therefore, it flips the narrative, and that place is no longer a negative place. It is a positive place where I had a good experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Revisiting those old places, I can see positive in it. I can also see negative in it, but that's
Mhm.
just pushing forward. It's pushing through that fear and saying, look, I'm not going to allow you to win.
It's
I'm going to get
honoring
through this.
it's honoring the struggle and the work you've put in to be where you are now.
Right. Well, and it's
Honoring those
also,
failures.
yeah, it's in the reading I wrote down, it talks about, learning from our failures, our mistakes, our negative experiences, and not giving up. We're still trying.
Yeah.
The key is never to give up and to keep trying despite failure. We're going to have
Right.
successes. We're going to have failures in life. It's just how we look at them and how we continue to push forward and move on. And, that's why it says it's so important to do that inventory, that step,
Right.
um,
We
to
learn
try to
so
do
much
that.
more in our failures than we do in our successes.
Well, absolutely.
Honestly,
I'm a firm believer of that. That's why I
Yeah.
reread it twice, from that reading that, our failures, I use my negative experiences and my negative past. You guys have all heard me share this. I use that as strength today. I use my
Mhm.
past as my experience, strength, and hope to share to other people. And what's above me every single time I go live, Recover Out Loud. That's a very, very powerful tool that each and every one of us possess within us. We all have a
Our
unique story and we all have our
Yeah.
own recovery journey. And it's just a powerful ass tool. It's super powerful.
Our story can serve as a survival guide to somebody else who is
Right.
still going through what we're going through, and
And
I
we
mean,
never
that's what the
we never
12
know
steps
who
of the
that
12
person
steps.
is.
What exactly? We never do. We can just plant the seed randomly, and you don't know what took and what didn't. But I mean, both of us constantly work a step 12, trying to share the message wherever, whenever, you know.
Right. Exactly. Well, I
We
see a
had this.
few people do what?
Oh, I said we had the same conversation in a meeting that I was at I think it was last week. I have too many meetings. But I talked about there's a Disney movie that I love called Meet the Robinsons, and I wanted it to become part of my program's conference approved literature because I feel like it's important. If you guys haven't seen it, go see it. It's called Meet the Robinsons. It's one of those like not known Disney movies, but the whole movie is about failing essentially. And the family in this movie celebrates their failures way more than they celebrate their successes. It's a fantastic movie. Plus Tom Selleck's in it. So
Oh my gosh. I won't even go there. I just had this horrible visual of Tom Selleck that it's an unmentionable that I cannot bring up live. And Addie's face will get redder and redder the more I talk about it. It'll be as red as this Recover Out Loud by the time I get done talking about it. So you guys can only imagine what kind of pictures she was bringing up with Tom Selleck and why I'm talking about it. God, Google, let me tell you.
anyway, good. It's a good movie. You should go watch it. Everybody should go watch it. That's your home. That's y'all's homework. Go watch Meet the Robinsons. Don't
There you
Google
go.
pictures of Tom Selleck. Just watch Meet the Robinsons.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially the way she Googles pictures of Tom Selleck. We'll leave it at that. Well, I hope you guys are having a great night. We are obviously getting pounded with a thunderstorm right now that just creeped up out of nowhere because I can hear it beating on our windows. So, changing our negatives into positives, and learning to appreciate them was the topic tonight, guys. If you missed the stream, it will be here for you guys to rewatch. Please do. I always say remain positive, and stay vigilant in your recovery each and every time. And this is a topic that comes up in just about every 12-step fellowship,
Mhm.
almost on a weekly basis because it's that important. I feel it's that important.
I think it's the
When we can,
cornerstone.
yeah, when we can change our thought process, which is what it's all about.
Mhm.
That's kind of the end game, the end goal. We're never going to be perfect at it.
No,
It's that whole progress, not perfection. And that's
that's where
okay
the
because there's
positive affirmations come in.
right. Yeah. There's
Oh,
the gratitude.
I did finally do that, y'all. We were talked about that in a live like 3 lives ago if I had put the affirmations around my bathroom mirror yet. And yes, I did the other day.
Yes. We have a bathroom mirror full of positive affirmations. And that's a great tool, guys. If you struggle with self-worth, value, love, self-esteem, like I do, it helps. It really does. I'm speaking from experience. It really, really does help, because it allows me to start my day off on a positive foot. And I think that's really important, to start our day off on the right foot and to have a good day. Um, it's not always going to happen. We're still going to have our good days and our bad days, but starting it off typically on a good day, it's going to end in a good day. Is a pretty good rule of thumb to live by. But don't forget that we all have that ability to reset our day when we need to. You know, we all have that reset button, and it's a choice whether we press that reset button or not. You know, don't beat yourself up, flip the script like Addie said,
Yeah.
and hit that reset button and start your day over. You know, start looking at the affirmation, start remembering and talking gratitude. You know, have that attitude of gratitude. Um,
Well,
believe
that
me, it
reminds
helps.
me, I gotta do my list.
Got to do your gratitude list. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. I'm extremely tired. I'm still not feeling the best. Um, say a prayer. Hopefully, I will heal and get better soon. This infection has just got me all kinds of screwed up still. But I'm pushing through it, guys. I really am. I'm trying my hardest um, to be here for you guys as much as I can. But sometimes I need help too. So a little extra prayers from you guys wouldn't hurt a thing. That's for damn sure. I love each and every one of you guys.
Good night, guys.
Addie says, "What do you usually say? Be what?
Y'all are rock stars. Go be awesome.
Be badass rock stars. You're all awesome." All right, guys. You guys all have a good night. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks for listening to Addie talk about Tom Selleck and some crazy other stuff that we usually squirrel out on and go south occasionally. That's pretty normal
I
for
think
us.
we stayed pretty well on topic tonight for the
We
most
didn't.
part.
Yeah, we didn't do too bad tonight. All right, guys. Stay grateful. Stay positive. Love you guys. Remain vigilant in your recovery. We will talk to you guys later on. Thanks for watching.